We all think we know what makes a sprinter fast, right? They just move their legs super quick. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Not even close. Today we're going to get into the wild physics behind Usain Bolt's legendary speed and see how he pretty much broke the rules of the game.
9.58 seconds. Back in 2009, that single number completely shattered what we thought was humanly possible in the 100-meter dash. I mean, it just screams pure, raw speed, doesn't it? But how he got that speed, well, that's where things get really weird.
Okay, and this is the core puzzle of that incredible race. Take a look at this. Usain Bolt, the guy who won, took just 41 steps. The guy in second place, Tyson Gay, he took 46 steps. Let that sink in for a moment. The winner took fewer steps. That means his legs were actually turning over slower than the guy he beat. How is that even possible?
So that brings us to the big question, the one we're here to answer. How in the world did the guy with the slower legs, the slower turnover, not just win, but absolutely obliterate the world record? The answer isn't just about his legs, it's about physics.
All right, to crack this case, we've got to look at the basic math behind running. And don't worry, it's super simple. It all boils down to just two things.
And here it is, the big secret. Speed equals stride length times stride frequency. That's it. Stride length is just how much ground you cover with each step. And stride frequency? That's how many steps you're taking every second. So, simple, right? Want to run faster? Just make your steps longer or quicker. Or both. But of course, there's always a catch. And here's the catch. These two things, length and frequency, they're basically in a constant fight with each other. It's like a seesaw. You push one side up, and the other one automatically goes down.
Just think about it for a second. If you try to take these huge, long leaps to get a massive stride length, what happens? Well, it takes forever for your leg to swing back around, so your frequency, your turnover, just tanks. And the opposite is true too, right? Try to move your feet super fast like a cartoon character scrambling away. Your steps get all short and choppy. You're not covering any ground. So for any top athlete, the name of the game is finding that perfect sweet spot.
So, if finding the right stride length is so important, how do you actually do it? This is where we hit one of the biggest, most common myths in all of sports.
You've probably heard this a million times from a coach, maybe even a PE teacher. They yell, "Reach out, stretch that leg forward to get a longer stride." And yeah, it kind of makes sense on the surface, but it's actually just about the worst piece of advice you can give a runner. Because reaching your foot way out in front of you, that's not hitting the gas pedal, that's slamming on the brakes. Every single time you do it, you're literally stopping yourself from going faster. The fancy term for this is overstriding. Basically, when your foot lands way out in front of your hip, your leg is pretty much straight. It acts like a stiff pole jamming into the ground. All that forward momentum you just worked so hard to build up, poof, it gets stopped by this braking force that shoots right up your leg.
Okay, so if reaching forward is bad, what's the right way to do it? Well, the real secret to a long, powerful stride has nothing to do with what your leg is doing out in front. It's all about what's happening right underneath your body and what you leave behind.
Believe it or not, it all comes back to high school physics, Newton's third law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So the harder you can punch the ground down and back, the harder the ground pushes you up and forward. It's that simple. It's not about reaching out, it's about pushing down. More force into the ground means you literally fly a little further with each step, and that's your longer stride.
And we're not talking about a little push here. We're talking about a huge amount of force. Get this, elite sprinters hit the ground with up to 5 times their body weight on every single step. They're basically human pogo sticks, just exploding off the ground and flying down the track.
And this really highlights the huge difference between how beginners and pros think about getting faster. Most of us, when we want to speed up, we just try to move our legs faster, right? We just spin our wheels. But the elites, they know the secret. They know the real speed comes from putting more force into the ground to make their stride longer and more powerful.
So let's look at how this plays out in a real 100-meter race. For the first 30 meters or so, that's the drive phase. Sprinters are building up both their step frequency and their step length. But then somewhere between 30 and 60 meters, they hit top speed. Their leg turnover literally maxes out. Your nervous system just can't fire any faster. So for the rest of the race, how do they stay that fast? There's only one way, by continuing to slam the ground with incredible force to keep that stride length as long as possible. And this all brings us back to the man himself, Usain Bolt, because he was, for lack of a better word, a freak of nature. He was this total outlier who somehow got the best of both worlds. It was like he found a cheat code to the physics of sprinting and just broke the seesaw.
Just look at the numbers here. They're kind of insane. At 6'5", Bolt is way taller than your typical sprinter. Now, physics would tell you that a guy that tall should have a ridiculously long stride, but a really slow turnover rate. And he did have the long stride, for sure, a crazy 2.44 meters. But here's the cheat code. He also had the lightning-fast turnover of a much shorter man. He got the length of a giant and the frequency of a compact sprinter. He completely broke the trade-off that limits everyone else.
So what does all this mean for the rest of us? You know, us mere mortals who aren't genetic superstars. The takeaway is huge. Getting faster isn't about trying to make your legs move like a blur. It's about getting stronger. It's about building the raw power to punch the ground harder every time you take a step.
It really boils down to this one incredible idea, a great way to think about it. Real speed isn't about frantic, wasted motion. It's about focused, powerful force. It's why people say that speed is just strength disguised as movement.
So I want to leave you with this question. The next time you watch a race, or maybe even the next time you go for a run yourself, think about this. Are you just trying to move your legs faster, or are you trying to get more powerful? Because now you know, the answer to that question changes everything.